Approaching is the #1 skill to get you a girlfriend in 2025, but not for the reasons that most men think. And I guarantee this will surprise you because I saw this come up twice over New Year's with two different clients. The first one, he's in Europe and we've been working together for a few weeks. And whilst he's been able to make some approaches, go up to girls, he's still quite frustrated that he isn't as confident. He's not able to always go over there and stop the girls. Sometimes he just freezes up. And I encouraged him. I was like, don't worry, dude, with time, we'll get there. But over New Year's Eve, he had a party lined up that was a singles event that he could go to with like 60 people. So I encouraged him to go onto it. And he turned up to this event, and on New Year's, they had like a big sort of party for everyone on a dance floor. And he said he was confidently walking over, talking to the girls, dancing, whilst a lot of the other guys, they were sat on the outskirts. They actually ended up leaving whilst he was doing so well. And he came away from this event with a bunch of contacts and is going to be setting up dates. Then the second guy, he ended up getting invited to an event with friends for New Year's. It was like a dinner party, and he got sat down next to a girl, and he's been doing all right, you know, like we've been going at it, I think 6 weeks deep, and he's been doing really well in coffee shops, being able to go over, talk to girls, but he was still struggling with being able to approach women on the street in person, stopping them as they're walking by. But then, when he was sat there with this girl right in front of him, he was electric. He did so well. They ended up kissing on New Year's, and now he's got a date scheduled for her next week. So both of these clients, they report back to me just how well it had gone because, in their own words, it was just so much easier than approaching. And that's exactly the thing. Approaching is the most difficult thing that you can do. It resets the bar for the most challenging way to meet women because you're walking over there with no context. You're breaking social norms to have this conversation. So for them, they deemed that to be what is difficult and then opened up all this realm of possibility for everything that they felt was easier because for them, for that client at the sort of disco, he was able to walk across the room and speak to a girl because he felt confident, you know, he knew they were single, they were there for dating. So he felt confident doing that compared to on the street and approaching. But that wasn't the case for the other men. The other men that had gone to that event, this was now their new difficult. This was their new hard. They couldn't bring themselves to walk over there. And then the second client, the US-based one, when he was sat at this dinner, he just spoke to how much more fluid he was in conversation and how much easier it went. And that is because as much as approaching is a skill that could allow you to meet a girlfriend, it's how I met mine, what it also is a like master skill that unlocks so many other lower skills in that too. When you're going over learning to approach, you're working on your ability to communicate, your improvisation, your ability to listen, your courage to go over there, and just your ability to engage in these conversations and be dynamic. All of this contributes to so much more, and it comes from this one action, this one skill, where you take yourself to the more difficult level and it unlocks everything else underneath for you. This is even seen in like athletics, where if you're training for the World Cup, you see this. I'm in the UK, I support England. When there's a World Cup and there is a place where it's like high altitude, the climate's rough, what do they do before the tournament? They go train somewhere where the climate is even more difficult. It's even higher altitude. This is altitude training, and that is what learning to approach is. I am trying not to get run over by massive tractors here. You've got me on a holiday with friends. But that is why approaching is just the #1 skill, and it is for that surprising reason. Every guy should learn to do this, but it isn't because he's definitely going to meet the girlfriend. It isn't because he even needs to master approaching. It's just because it helps him develop in so many different ways and unlocks so many more avenues for how he can meet a girl. It makes him more confident. It makes him feel like it's not as scary if I'm at my local tennis club. There's a girl I know, I've talked to her a few times, we get on quite well. Well, you know what? Well, I went up to those girls on the street and had a conversation with them. They were polite. They did have a boyfriend. So honestly, talking to like Sarah over there, that's not going to be too bad. So walking, taking yourself over there, this is why it is the absolute essential skill for 2025. And as I say, you don't even need to master it. And if you want to get a really good head start of just getting those basics covered, then I recommend you check out this video here, where I detail the 3 things that I do in the first 60 seconds of every successful approach. So check that out, and I'll see you there.